Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pricharine Nirvaseshasha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarupyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today we continue with reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7. I'm sorry, this is Bhagavad Gita, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 36. Are you all able to see the screen of this?
Yes, yes, we can see.
Okay, thank you. Etavad eva jigyasyam tattva jigya sunatmanaha anvaya vyati krepkabhyam syat yat syat sarvatra sarvada. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. A person who is searching after the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personality of Godhead, must certainly search for it up to this in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. To unfold the mystery of Bhakti Yoga, as it is explained in the previous verse, is the ultimate stage of all inquiries, or the highest objective for the inquisitive. Everyone is searching after self-realization in different ways, by Karma Yoga, by Jnana Yoga, by Dhyana Yoga, by Raja Yoga, by Bhakti Yoga, etc. To engage in self-realization is the responsibility of every living entity developed in consciousness. One who is developed in consciousness certainly makes inquiries into the mystery of the self, of the cosmic situation, and of the problems of life in all spheres and fields: social, political, economic, cultural, religious, moral, etc., and in their different branches. But here, the goal of all such inquiries is explained. So Krishna, in his conversation with Brahmaji, Krishna is telling him about the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. He's imparting the knowledge, and Krishna is saying that the highest perfection is Bhakti yoga. We have to come to the point of bhakti yoga, whether we do it in this life or we do it after millions of births. But we have to come to that point. And then that is the ultimate inquiry that we can make. Everyone here who is developed in consciousness, you see, human life begins only when we ask the question, who am I? Why am I here? Till the time we don't make this inquiry, we are not even on the platform of a human being. You know, although we have this body, but if we are not inquiring this question, then if we are just engaged in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, then we are on the platform of the animals. So we can see currently the society, how we are moving, how many of us are inquiring, who am I? You know, actually inquiring, very few. And even if some are inquiring, how many of us are actually trying to do something, like trying to get deeper into it? And then some of the ways that some of us get into is karma yoga, that I will do whatever I'm like to do and I offer the results to God. That is karma yoga. Jnana yoga is to try to cultivate the knowledge of the Supreme. Dhyana yoga is by meditation to try to reach to the Paramatma who is in our heart. Raja yoga, I'm not sure what it is. And bhakti yoga is devotional service. So, and this is a responsibility of every of every human being, because in an animal's body, we cannot understand. So imagine, only if we are developed in consciousness. Now, what does that make us think? What's the condition of society right now? Because most of us are not asking this question. So what is the level of our consciousness, you know? And then some of us who are trying to get inquisitive, but we see, oh, the majority people are not asking. So am I doing something wrong? You know? But in fact, we need to educate everyone, because right now our consciousness, because of Kali Yuga, because of too much sense gratification, we are just moving towards economic development. That's all. That's all everybody's looking for. And very quick sense gratification. But the real purpose of human life is to ask, who am I and why am I here? Why am I suffering? How do I get out of this material world? And the ultimate point we have to reach to is bhakti yoga, devotional service, hearing and chanting about the Supreme Lord. The Vedanta Sutra philosophy begins with this inquiry about life, and the Bhagavatam answers such inquiries up to this point, or the mysteries of all inquiries. Lord Brahma wanted to be perfectly educated by the personality of Godhead, and here is the answer by the Lord, finished in 4 nutshell verses, from Aham Eva to this verse, Etavad Eva. This is the end of all self-realization processes. So this just now, this last 4 words, this is the 4th verse. These 4 verses is the whole nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now Brahmaji, because he's highly pure and he's very intelligent, so he could understand the full Bhagavatam in 4 verses. But for us, Brahmaji asked Narad Muni, who asked Vyasadeva to expand this Bhagavatam for people like us Kali Yuga people, you know. Men do not know that the ultimate goal of life is Vishnu, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, due to being bewildered by the glaring reflection in the darkness. And as such, everyone is entering into the darkest region of material existence, driven by the uncontrolled senses. So right now, even our leaders, they don't know what is the highest goal of life. They are driving us, economic development, take ownership, forget God. And so all of us are following them. And it's like the blind following the blind. And where is it going to reach? Where are we going to go if we are just going to follow the blind? We're just going to be in the darkness. The whole material existence has sprung up because of sense gratification, desires based principally on the sex desire. And the result is that, in spite of all advancement of knowledge, the final goal of all the activities of the living entities is sense gratification. We can see there's so much endeavor being made, so much energy, so much time, so much money is being utilized. And what is all that for? So that we can eat better, we can sleep better, we can mate better, and we can defend better. You know, there's more and more varieties of foods coming up, which we never had seen earlier. But as time goes by, there's more and more varieties of food. And then more and more comfortable types of mattresses, more and more comfortable houses, more and more. Then we have more and more weapons, intricate weapons, you know. So all this is just to increase our sense gratification. But then what's the difference between us and the animals? The animals are also doing eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And we are also using so much time, energy, money just to do these things. But human life is not for that. But here is the real goal of life, and everyone should know it by inquiries put before a bona fide spiritual master, expert in the science of Bhakti Yoga, or from a living personality of Bhagavatam life. Everyone is engaged in various kinds of scriptural inquiries, but the Srimad Bhagavatam gives answers to all of the various students of self-realization. This ultimate objective of life is not to be searched out without great labor or perseverance. So if we are a little bit developed in our consciousness, if we have a little bit of that, what am I doing here? Then that begins our inquiry. Begins our inquiry, and then we should hear from Srimad Bhagavatam. Put these inquiries to a bona fide spiritual master, a guru who's coming in the parampara system, and hear the Bhagavatam from him. As we are hearing now Bhagavatam from Srila Prabhupada, we are hearing Bhagavatam from Sukadev Goswami. You know, they are living Bhagavatam. They were living the Bhagavatam, not only just speaking it. Everyone is engaged in various kinds of scriptural inquiries. So each of us have our different levels of consciousness, and each of us have different inquiries, but all our answers can be met just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam with attention, with submission. One who is imbued with such sincere inquiries must ask the bona fide spiritual master in the disciplic succession from Brahmaji, and that is the direction given here. Because the mystery was disclosed before Brahmaji by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the mystery of all such inquiries regarding self-realization must be put before such a spiritual master who is directly the representative of the Lord, acknowledged in that disciplic succession. So we might have many inquiries regarding the self, but the point is we should inquire from a bona fide representative, a bona fide spiritual master who is coming in the parampara system, because only he can know the truth. He knows the truth, so he can tell us the truth. If somebody's not heard the truth, if somebody's just making up the things, even they don't know, then how can they guide others? So it's our responsibility to understand the truth, who knows it, who has heard directly from Krishna. Krishna is speaking to Brahmaji, Brahmaji to Narad Muni, Narad Muni to Vyasadev, Vyasadev spoke it to Madhvacharya. Like that, the disciplic succession is coming. And now we are hearing from Srila Prabhupada. Such a bona fide spiritual master is able to clear up the whole thing by evidence from the revealed scriptures, both direct and indirect. Although everyone is free to consult the revealed scriptures in this connection, one still requires the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, and that is the direction in this verse. Now, we might go to the bookstore and buy the textbooks. Say, I want to study computer science. So I might go and buy the textbooks, all of the textbooks regarding computer science, and study it. But that does not make me a qualified computer scientist. I have to go to the university. I have to get teachings from a teacher who can explain to me what's written in the textbook. Then I have to be trained under the teacher. The teacher will give me practical guidance of how I have to do the things. Similarly, the Vedic knowledge, the knowledge of the self, the knowledge of the scriptures cannot be understood only by just reading the book. We have to hear from the spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master. The bona fide spiritual master is the most confidential representative of the Lord, and one must receive direction from the spiritual master in the same spirit that Brahmaji received it from the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. And we should have the same mode of service and submission. How Brahmaji is receiving this knowledge, even we should open our hearts and receive the knowledge. Because if our hearts are closed, then even if the spiritual master is giving the knowledge, we are not going to be receiving it. If we say, oh, I know everything, why should I hear? I know what is correct. That means we are closing our heart, but we need to open our hearts. With humility, submission, service, we should make the inquiry. The bona fide spiritual master in that bona fide chain of disciplic succession never claims himself to be the Lord himself, never claims to be the Lord himself, although such a spiritual master is greater than the Lord in the sense that he can deliver the Lord by his personally realized experience. The Lord is not to be found simply by education or by a good fertile brain, but surely he can be found by the sincere student through the transparent medium of the bona fide spiritual master. So how can we understand the Lord? Is that we need to hear from a bona fide spiritual master who never claims that he is God. A guru who is a true guru, who's coming in the disciplic succession, never will say that I'm God. And if his students are trying to tell him I'm God, he will never tell them. He is going to correct them immediately and say that I'm not God, I'm just a servant of God. And he teaches us how to become servants of God. And the spiritual master over here, Prabhupada is saying, is greater than the Lord in the sense that he can deliver the Lord by his personally realized experience. So he can give us Krishna, he can show us Krishna because he has seen, because he has Krishna, he is in his relationship with Krishna. So he can connect us to Krishna. It's like when we want to see the Prime Minister, and if we go to the secretary can organize a meeting for us with the Prime Minister because he has that relationship. If we directly go to the Prime Minister is not going to even answer our email, you know. But if we somehow or the other go to the secretary, be nice to him in a nice, humble manner, ask him, can I have an appointment with the Prime Minister? Then he will. So it's the same way. The same way. And the guru, he never comes in between. He never comes in between the disciple and God. He's just simply connecting us to God. You know, he wants us to be connected in our personal relationship. Is it okay till now?
Yes.
Okay. So, reading on. The revealed scriptures give directions directly to this end. But because the bewildered living entities are blinded by the glaring reflection in the darkness, they are unable to find the truth of the revealed scriptures. For example, in the Bhagavad Gita, the whole direction is targeted toward the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. But for want of a bona fide spiritual master in the line of Brahmaji or the direct hearer Arjuna, there are different distortions of the revealed knowledge by many unauthorized persons who just want to satisfy their own whims. We have practical experience that Bhagavad Gita is the song of God, is the song of Sri Krishna, his instructions to Arjuna, and where he's claiming that I am God myself, I am God, and a duty of every living entity is to surrender to God. And the most confidential knowledge is Man Manabhav Mat Bhakto. Always think of me, remember me, become my devotee, offer homage unto me. And in this way, you will surely come to me without fail. That is Krishna's promise, that if we do this, we will go back to the spiritual world without fail. And we don't have to fear. We don't have to fear that I'm not doing this ritual or that ritual, this puja, that puja. Krishna is saying, no, just worship me. And he's giving the guarantee. And this is what the Bhagavad Gita is. But there are so many people who read the Bhagavad Gita and they still don't know what Bhagavad Gita is all about. Why? Because they are reading it or they are hearing it from the Bhagavad Gita. They are hearing the Bhagavad Gita from people who themselves don't know what Bhagavad Gita is all about. Why? Because they didn't hear it from the authority. They didn't hear it in the Parampara system. So only when we hear in the Parampara system can we actually understand the truth. Can we actually understand Krishna and our own position? And that's the great credit which is for Srila Prabhupada, because his translation of Bhagavad Gita as it is has made thousands of devotees. Because he's coming in the Parampara system and he's translated the Bhagavad Gita as Lord Krishna spoke it, as Arjuna understood it. There is no personal agenda in that, not for his own personal glory. No, he just wanted to tell us the truth. That's all. Undoubtedly, the Bhagavad Gita is accepted as one of the most brilliant stars in the horizon of the spiritual sky. Yet, the interpretations of this great book of knowledge have so grossly been distorted that every student of the Bhagavad Gita is still in the same darkness of glaring material reflections. Such students are hardly enlightened by the Bhagavad Gita. So the people who are reading the Bhagavad Gita by the unauthorized commentators, they have not yet understood the truth. They don't know because the Bhagavad Gita that they are hearing from itself is not authorized, is not the true teachings of Lord Krishna. So that's why they are still bewildered. They don't know what's happening. Who's God? Who am I? What's the whole creation about? What is the universe about? Where am I going? You know. So in Gita, practically the same instruction is imparted as in the 4 prime verses of the Bhagavatam, but due to wrong and fashionable interpretations by unauthorized persons, one cannot reach the ultimate conclusion. In Bhagavad Gita also, we have the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna, when he's giving the instructions to Arjuna, there are 4 very important verses which are called the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. That comes in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, verse 8, 9, 10, 11. Those verses are the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. And very clearly everything is explained. You know, that devotional service is the ultimate. But because there are unscrupulous people who did not hear the Bhagavad Gita from the authority in Parampara system, they just made up whatever they wanted to write. And in this way, other people are being misguided by reading such commentaries. In Bhagavad Gita 18.61, it is clearly said, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. The Lord is situated in the heart of all living beings as Paramatma, and he's controlling all of them in the material world under the agency of his external energy. Therefore, it is clearly mentioned that the Lord is the supreme controller and the living entities are controlled by the Lord. So in 1861, Krishna is saying that he is the controller and we all the living entities, we are being controlled by him, and that he's in everyone's heart. He's situated in the heart of all living beings, be it human beings, be it animals, birds, trees, plants, reptiles, fish. He's in the heart of all living beings, and he's controlling each and every one of us. In the same Bhagavad Gita 18.65, the Lord directs as follows: Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru mam evashyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. It is clear from this verse of the Bhagavad Gita that the direction of the Lord is that one should be God-minded, a devotee of the Lord, a worshipper of the Lord, and must offer all obeisances unto Lord Krishna. By doing so, the devotee will undoubtedly go back to Godhead, back to home. So you see, it's so important to hear from a correct teacher. It's the same way, we don't just buy the textbook and become expert in that subject. We have to go to a teacher who can explain to us correct knowledge. And this is the most important knowledge, because it's relating to who we truly are. We are the souls, not the body. So it's our responsibility to search out a bona fide spiritual master and hear from him. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is giving this instruction: just think of me, worship me, offer your obeisances unto me, become my devotee. And why is he telling us to do that? In that way, we will surely go back home, back to Godhead. This material world is not our home. Our home is in the spiritual world. And by just following these simple things, we can go back home. Indirectly, it is stated that the whole Vedic social construction of human society is so made that everyone acts as a part and parcel of the complete body of the Lord. The intelligent class of men, or the Brahmanas, are situated on the face of the Lord. The administrative class of men, the Kshatriyas, are situated on the arms of the Lord. The productive class of men, the Vaishyas, are situated on the belt of the Lord. And the laborer class of men, the Shudras, are situated on the legs of the Lord. Therefore, the complete social construction is the body of the Lord, and all the parts of the body, namely the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras, are meant to serve the Lord's whole body conjointly. Otherwise, the parts become unfit to be coordinated with the supreme consciousness of oneness. So Krishna had divided the society in Varna Sharma. In the Varna Sharma system, he had divided the society into four, as Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. The Brahmanas are the face of the Lord. They are the intelligent class of men. They are the people who are supposed to guide us into the spiritual knowledge, in the highest goal of human life. Then the Kshatriyas, they are the kings, the administrators who are meant for protection of the whole society. And so they are the arms of the Lord. The productive class of men are the businessmen, the traders, the people, the farmers, the people who are in charge of protecting the cows. They are the Vaishyas, and they are on the belly of the Lord. And then the laborer class of men, the Shudras, they are meant to give service to all the three other higher class, and they're situated on the legs of the Lord. And there was supposed to be complete cooperation between these parts. And it was so until the time of Maharaj Pariksha. Until he was there, it was the Varna Sharma Dharma was perfectly being followed. It's only when Kali Yuga started, that's when the whole Varna Sharma system got degraded into simply a caste system. And then now we can see there is no system currently in the society. Universal consciousness is factually achieved by coordinated service of all concerned to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that alone can ensure total perfection. Therefore, even the great scientists, the great philosophers, the great mental speculators, the great politicians, the great industrialists, the great social reformers, etc., cannot give any relief to the restless society of the material world because they do not know the secret of success, as mentioned in this verse of the Bhagavatam, namely, that one must know the mystery of Bhakti Yoga. We can see human society has made so much advancement in economic development. And then there is so much advancement in technology. There is so many great thinkers, philosophers, scientists. We are trying to reach the moon and different planets. And then there is so much research going on in so many different areas. But in spite of all that, we can see that the quality of the human being is in fact being degraded, that the human beings, even the animals are being tortured. What to say only human beings, even the quality of the animals is being degraded. And we can see that we, the human beings, in spite of so much progress, so much facilities, we are getting more and more anxiety. We are more and more fearful. We are getting more and more isolated. There is no happiness. There's no peace. There is more and more depression that's happening. Why? Because society is moving away from the most important point, and that is Bhakti Yoga, which begins by hearing and chanting about Krishna, chanting Hare Krishna mantra, hearing from the Bhagavatam. We are moving away from that, and we are made up so many different things to fill our time. But in that bargain, we are becoming more and more restless. Is that okay?
Yes. Even the Manmana Bhavam Bhakto is also there in chapter 9.
Yes.
Right? Verse 36.
34. Yes.
34.
Yes. It's repeated twice. So because it's so
Yes.
important.
So being God-minded means thinking of God, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
All the time, thinking of Him.
Chintan, no? Okay.
Yeah. By our mind, we think of Him. By our body, we offer obeisances to Him. By our words, we speak of His glories. So we are engaging all the different parts of our body to remember Krishna, to serve Krishna. And in this way, we go back to the spiritual world. So because it is so important, he repeats it twice in the Bhagavad Gita. So we can stop here.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hari Hari Bol. Have a great